If you're pouring your heart into your podcast, but still struggling to turn those listeners into paying clients, I've got something just for you. Imagine having a clear, simple plan to turn your listeners into buyers without relying on a huge audience or spending hours on social media. That's exactly what we'll create together in a podcast profit plan discovery call. During this free 20-minute call, I'll help you discover more opportunities for profit in your podcast and give you the next best step to turn your show into a client attracting machine. If I've got an offer that will help you expedite this process, then we can also discuss working together. Book your free podcast profit plan discovery call now by going to podcastingformoms.co/profit plan or by clicking the link in the show notes. I can't wait to chat with you.
Ever feel like your podcast is stuck on autopilot? You're showing up, you're publishing weekly, but nothing's really happening? No growth, no leads, no real result? Been there. In this episode, I'm breaking down the three-part strategy that completely transformed my podcast from a time-sucking to-do into a growth-driving machine. If you're ready to finally make your show work for your business, this one's for you. Welcome to Podcasting for Moms, the show for moms in business ready to start, grow, and scale a podcast that turns their listeners into buyers. I'm Jenny Sonneson, a podcast strategist and fellow mom entrepreneur. You're in the right place if you want to learn how to start and grow a podcast that attracts your ideal clients and really does the heavy lifting for you when it comes to selling your offers, all while balancing life as a busy mom. Are you ready to create a podcast that grows your income, impact, and influence? Let's make podcasting work for you because as moms, we know how to get things done. All right, let's jump into the episode. Hey, and welcome back to Podcasting for Moms, the go-to show for moms who are growing podcasts and businesses in the margins of motherhood. I'm your host, Jenny Sonneson, and today we're diving into the three-part strategy that took my podcast from static to strategic. If you've ever felt like your podcast was just kind of floating in space, not growing, not driving sales, not really doing much of anything, this episode's for you because I've been there too. In fact, a couple years ago, I looked at my downloads and thought, wait, why am I even doing this? The momentum that I had at launch had completely stalled. I wasn't seeing growth. My content felt really random, and I had no clear connection between my podcast and the rest of my business. So I hit pause, zoomed out, and completely reworked the way I approach my show. And what came out of it was this simple three-part strategy that I'm sharing with you today. So let's jump in. So this might sound obvious, but you'd be surprised how many podcasters, myself included, start out thinking, this will be a great way to build authority without ever asking how their podcast is actually going to support their business. So once I realized my podcast wasn't helping people take the next step with me, I had to ask myself, what am I actually selling right now? And what do I want my listeners to do after they tune in? So I got intentional. Every episode I planned had a purpose, whether it was to build trust, generate leads, or directly promote a specific offer. I created content that naturally led into my free resources, my memberships, or my done for you services, and made sure that the call to action wasn't just slapped on at the end, but woven into the episode itself. Pro tip: before you hit record, ask yourself this: how does this episode serve my listener and my business? If it's not doing both, it's probably not worth your time. The next piece of the puzzle was turning my what should I talk about this week chaos into an intentional content calendar. Instead of flying by the seat of my pants, I started mapping out episodes 4 to 6 weeks in advance, tying each one to my bigger marketing campaigns. So if I was promoting a launch, my content shifted to be more focused on the pain points and desires of people considering that offer. If I had a lead magnet that I wanted more downloads on, I created an episode that teased the solution and points directly to that freebie. Planning ahead not only made batching a breeze, it also helped me create momentum that led somewhere strategic. So try this. Batch your ideas by theme or offer. 1 month of episodes could be focused on one topic, while you're focused the next on another topic, all leading to relevant calls to action. Last but not least, and honestly the part that I used to ignore completely, was discoverability. Let's be real. Apple and Spotify are search engines. But if your titles, descriptions, and keywords aren't optimized, your dream listeners are scrolling right past you. Once I learned how to write clear, searchable titles and SEO-friendly description, my organic reach skyrocketed. No more cute, clever episode names that mean nothing to someone browsing the charts. I also leaned into smart promotion strategies like podcast swaps, guesting, and strategically repurposing my episodes into blog posts and social content to reach new audiences. So I want you to go back through your last 5 episodes and ask yourself these questions. Would someone searching for help with this topic find me? And the second question I want you to ask yourself is, would they click based on this current title? If not, then tweak it. A tiny change in language can make a massive difference in visibility. So let's zoom out for a second. If your podcast is feeling static, here's your game plan. Number one, align your content with your business goals. Every episode should lead somewhere: a freebie, a service, a next step. Number two, be intentional with your content strategy. Plan ahead and tie your episodes into your launches and promos. And number three, optimize for discoverability. Don't forget the SEO. It's what helps your podcast get found and grow. I want you to know that your podcast has so much potential, but potential without strategy just turns into stress. You don't need to podcast harder. You just need to podcast smarter. If this episode hit home for you and you're ready to build a sustainable strategy behind your show, I would love to support you inside the Moms Behind the Mic Society. It's where we turn podcasting into a growth engine without the burnout. You can learn more and join us by going to podcastingformoms.co/society. And if you love this episode, take 30 seconds to leave a quick rating or review. It seriously means the world and helps other mom entrepreneurs find the show. Thank you so much for listening. I'll catch you next week for another episode of Podcasting for Moms. Thank you for tuning into Podcasting for Moms. I hope today's episode gave you the tools and inspiration you need to make your podcast work smarter, not harder. If you love what you heard, be sure to subscribe and leave a review. It means the world and helps other moms in business find the show. For more tips, resources, and support, head to podcastingformoms.co. Remember, you're not just building a podcast, you're building your legacy. Until next time, friends.